So wanted to do a video to show a little bit about what we do here and why sometimes where if you might be told that something's not market average, or that maybe a repair is excessive or something along those lines. I wanted to show basically with usually if we deviate from a procedure that's recommended by a paint company or an OEM manufacturer, what can kind of be the result. So with this is an Acura that came in just for some very minor damage up on the right front, and we replaced the mirror. Nothing too spectacular, but basically when it came in for the estimate, I noticed a couple of things from several feet away where it kind of made us take a closer look, and with it, it's kind of a textbook example of why there's a couple of things that we do here. So with it, just to start out, the car at some point or another had the quarter panel repaired, and with that, when we would do that, we would extend the clear coat throughout what's known as the uniside, which is the entire area behind the doors here. Instead, what had happened is that they extended the clear down the rocker, but then they broke it off inside of the jamb, and you can see right here where they prepped it and didn't have sufficient build, and basically now the clear coat's starting to peel off. So it's one of those things where it's a real telltale sign that the vehicle had been repaired at some point, and it runs pretty much the entire length of the rocker and all the way along the top of the outer roof rail as well too. And then also on the inside edge of the rear door, we can see that the rear door was painted as well too. And with that, they had masked off this channel right here where it overlaps with the front door. So we can see a real definitive paint line going down. And with that, we can see that the clear coat's starting to break down. And actually, if we go all the way down to the bottom here, we can actually see where they left some of their masking tape, which isn't good. So with that, if we were to extend that, go even further and look at the rest of the quarter panel, we can see where the quarter was refinished, and they stopped the refinishing inside of the jamb, and the clear coat's breaking down all throughout the inside. And also too, there was probably some repairs done on the inside and proper corrosion protection wasn't done, and so now we can see that repair is starting to break down and rust out. Now if we were to go to the gas door pocket here, now with this, if we were to repair or refinish the quarter panel, we would not just remove the gas door and refinish it along with the same time, but we would also remove this fuel filler pocket, and a lot of times these fuel filler pockets are considered one-time use. With that, this one was definitely left in, and we can tell because up here the tape must have let loose, and we can see that they actually painted the fuel filler pocket, and then right here on this inside edge we can see that the refinishing is starting to break down on that edge as well too. And also, if you were to look at the back of the gas door, we can also see that they just kind of masked this off, and here we can actually even see their primer overspray right here on the edge where that was. So with that, if it was something where if we were to repair it, the gas door would come off, and then we would have, at the very least, would have masked to right around this edge and would have edged it a little bit better. Then in the trunk jam, we can see that it was refinished, and if you look right here, this line that's going right across here, that's a tape edge. Now what we would probably normally want to do here is, if we were refinishing this quarter, is at the very least we would have just gone the extra inch or so down to where this panel seams right here and masked it off right inside of there, so that it wouldn't be incredibly obvious that it was repainted. And then we actually have the same thing going on this quarter panel over here, except it's just a little bit more pronounced. Now if we go to the other side, this quarter also had repairs done to it as well. We can tell because, first of all, the real obvious thing is we can see a big paint run right there in the quarter panel. So even without knowing about paint edges or anything like that, it shows that there was definitely paint work. And then if we go on the inside, we see a lot more of the same, where the jams basically were kind of just cut in, and it's starting to break down. And also at the bottom, we can also see where we have some repairs where proper corrosion protection was probably not done, and we can see that it's starting to crack and rust out from the inside, all along the inside here. So with that, there's a lot of steps where with corrosion protection, it's not a single procedure, and more than likely, whoever did it, may have been paid for one operation of corrosion protection, but there's kind of a lot more to it that goes into it. And with that, there's, we can see on this side too, where the clear coat's starting to break down on the front edge of the panel as well too, where it probably shows us that whenever they bought the car, it probably didn't look this bad. Probably looked great when the repairs were done, but after a while, basically that repair goes and starts to break down. And we can also see the same thing on the edge of this door too, where we have this rough edge and the clear coat starting to break down. And with that, there's other things too with it, like there's, we can tell that weather strips were pulled off and just clips were not replaced, things of that nature. So with it, I think the one last thing that was real obvious is on the front. It looks like the bumper was probably painted on the car, and with that, it looks like when they did that, they DA'd it, and their DA hit the fender, and so the edge of the fender is rubbed through as well too. So with all of that, this is just an example of a car where, had repairs done that could be classified as market average, or economy is quick or whatever the case may be. And it's one of those things where I'm sure it probably looked phenomenal when it was picked up. But the real key to repairing a car is that we don't just want it to look good whenever a customer goes and picks it up, or it looks good enough for them to sell it, or whatever the case is. We want to make sure that those repairs last the life of the car, just like it would if the car wasn't in an accident. And sometimes that means that you have to do procedures that may not be real popular or may be a little bit expensive, but this is what we're trying to avoid. Now in this particular case, this customer did not have the car repaired. The customer actually bought the car used and was unaware that any of the damage had been done on the car. So with that, again, just video to show why we do what we do here and what we're trying to avoid to happen on your car. Thanks.